The crystalline spires of the observation vessel Eternal Vigil gleamed in the light of Sol as it maintained its position behind Jupiter's largest moon, Ganymede. First observer Lyra Vex stood at her command post, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with barely contained frustration as she reviewed the latest reports from her surveillance team. Another anomaly, Commander, reported her second-in-command, Thorn, his metallic scales shifting in the dim light of the bridge. The humans have launched what they claim to be a weather satellite, but its energy signature doesn't match any known meteorological equipment in our database. Lyra's tendrils coiled tightly around her data terminal. For 3 centuries, the Zephyrian Empire had watched Earth, cataloging humanity's seemingly erratic technological progress. Their development patterns defied all known models of civilization advancement. They would make breakthrough discoveries in quantum mechanics, then apparently abandon the research. They would achieve fusion power, only to continue burning fossil fuels. Their entertainment media seemed obsessed with alien contact, yet their space program appeared primitive and inefficient. "Show me the satellite's trajectory," Lyra commanded. The holographic display illuminated, showing the object's path. It made no sense. The orbit was too irregular for weather monitoring, too precise to be amateur engineering. First observer called out her sensor chief, Kev. "I'm detecting unusual gravitational fluctuations near the Martian poles. The readings are impossible. They appear and disappear at random intervals." Lyra's species had evolved from apex predators, and every instinct she possessed was screaming that something was wrong. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered dozens of civilizations, always following the same methodology: observe, analyze, and strike when the species reached the perfect technological threshold. Advanced enough to be useful, but not advanced enough to pose a real threat. "Launch our deep space probes," she ordered. "Full spectrum analysis of the entire solar system. Something isn't right here." As the probes deployed, Lyra reviewed humanity's history. Their world wars had demonstrated both their capacity for destruction and their ability to advance technology at unprecedented rates when threatened. Their Cold War had pushed the boundaries of what her analysts thought possible for a pre-spacefaring civilization. And now, first observer. Thorn's voice carried an edge of panic she had never heard before. "The probes, they're gone. Gone. Destroyed." "No, first observer. They simply vanished. No debris, no energy signatures, nothing. It's as if they were never there." Lyra's bioluminescence flared bright violet, a sign of extreme agitation among her kind. "Begin emergency protocols. Prepare for immediate." Her words were cut short as space itself seemed to ripple around the Eternal Vigil. The darkness between the stars shifted, and suddenly they were surrounded. Ships appeared from nowhere, sleek, angular vessels that seemed to drink in the light rather than reflect it. They had been there all along, hidden behind veils of technology that should not exist. A transmission cut through their communications network with ease, bypassing all encryption. "This is Admiral Raina Patil of the Earth Defense Force. We've been watching you watching us. Consider this a courtesy call." Lyra's bridge crew stared in shock as their sensors finally revealed the truth. The asteroid belt was not simply a collection of space rocks. It was a carefully constructed shell of weapon platforms and fleet bases. Mars's mysterious gravitational fluctuations came from massive underground facilities. Even Venus's caustic atmosphere served as a cover for floating fortresses. "Impossible," Thorn whispered. "Their technology level. It's all been a deception." For 3 centuries, Admiral Patel's voice carried a note of pride. "We've maintained the greatest military deception in human history. Every failed space program masked a success. Every abandoned quantum research project yielded results we kept hidden. We learned from our history. The best way to prepare for a fight is to make sure your opponent underestimates you." Lyra's minds raced. The Zephyrian Empire had never encountered anything like this. Their entire strategic doctrine was based on the assumption that technological development followed predictable patterns. But humanity had hidden their true capabilities behind a carefully constructed facade of inefficiency and failure. "You have one standard rotation of your Earth," Lyra managed to respond, her diplomatic training taking over, "to explain your deception and declare your intentions." A soft chuckle came through the communication channel. "First observer Lyra Vex. Yes, we know who you are. Our intentions are simple. The Zephyrian Empire's pattern of conquest ends here. Humanity will not be your next acquisition. We are offering you a choice. Recognize us as equals and establish peaceful diplomatic relations, or return to your empire and inform them that Earth is not, and never will be, a viable target." As the human ships maintained their position, their weapons obviously powered but not targeting her vessel, Lyra realized that humanity had achieved something unprecedented in galactic history. They had turned their entire solar system into an impregnable fortress, while convincing the galaxy's greatest empire that they were barely capable of reaching their own moon. The game of cat and mouse was over. But Lyra suddenly wasn't sure which side had been the cat all along. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Admiral Reyna Patel stood before a wall of holographic displays showing every corner of the solar system. Around her, the command center hummed with activity as personnel monitored the standoff with the Zephyrian vessel. "They're scanning everything now," reported Commander James Okonjo, his fingers dancing across his console. "Their quantum sensors are trying to penetrate our defensive screens." Reyna allowed herself a small smile. "Let them look. It's time they saw what humanity has really been doing for the past 3 centuries. The greatest technological achievement in human history hadn't been their quantum drives, their gravity manipulation, or even their cloaking systems. It had been the development of selective sensor masking, the ability to show their opponents exactly what they wanted them to see." "Status of Operation Revelation?" she asked. "All systems performing as expected," replied Dr. Yuki Tanaka, head of the Technological Advancement Division. Her augmented eyes glowed softly as she processed real-time data. "The solar shield is fully operational. All defensive platforms are ready. The Jupiter fleet is in position." The Jupiter fleet, humanity's pride and joy. While the Zephyrians watched Earth's clumsy attempts at space exploration, humanity had been building their real space force in the shadow of the gas giant, using its radiation belts to mask their activities. "Message from First Observer Vex," announced Lieutenant Rivera. "They're requesting a face-to-face meeting." Reyna straightened her uniform. "Accept. Let's show them our hospitality." The meeting location was set aboard the neutral space station Unity, another piece of human engineering that had been hiding in plain sight, disguised as a defunct satellite. As Lyra's shuttle approached, the station's true form was revealed, a masterpiece of human architecture and engineering, its crystalline structures rivaling anything in the Zephyrian Empire. Inside the station's conference room, Reyna waited with her small delegation. They had chosen this moment carefully. Everything, from the station's design to their representatives' appearances, was calculated to send a message. The Zephyrian delegation entered, their bioluminescence reflecting their mixture of emotions. Lyra led them, her patterns showing a complex blend of anxiety and curiosity. "Welcome to Unity Station," Reyna began. "I believe it's time we had an honest conversation about humanity's place in the galaxy." "How?" Lyra's question carried centuries of frustration. "How did you hide all of this? Our observation protocols are perfect. We've used them to study dozens of species." Dr. Tanaka stepped forward, her augmented eyes scanning the Zephyrians. "Perfect for studying species that develop the way you expect them to. But humanity," she smiled, "we saw you coming. Not you specifically, but the threat you represented. Our history is filled with stories of more advanced civilizations encountering less advanced ones. It rarely ends well for the less advanced group." Holographic displays activated around the room, showing humanity's true technological timeline. While the Zephyrians watched their public space program struggle with chemical rockets, they had perfected antimatter propulsion. While their telescopes seemed focused on nearby stars, quantum sensors mapped the entire galaxy. The Mars colony. Thorne spoke up, his scales shifting in agitation. The failed Terraform project is a thriving city of 5 million people. Reyna completed his thought. Protected by environmental shields and gravity generators. Those dust storms your sensors detected. Engineered cover for our atmospheric processors. But your wars, Lyra protested. The conflicts, the political divisions. James Okonjo laughed. The best way to hide unity is behind the appearance of division. Every major nation on Earth has been part of this deception. Those political tensions you observed, carefully orchestrated to mask our global cooperation. The revelations continued. The asteroid belt wasn't just a weapons platform. It was a fully automated manufacturing center. Venus hosted atmospheric research facilities that had given humanity mastery over gravity and pressure manipulation. Even Mercury's scorched surface concealed vast energy collection arrays. Why reveal yourselves now? Lyra asked finally. Why not maintain the deception? Reyna's expression grew serious. Because we've learned enough about your empire to know that conflict is inevitable. You've conquered every civilization you've encountered, integrating them into your empire whether they wanted it or not. We're offering you a chance to break that pattern. The Empire would never accept equality with a species they considered targeting for conquest, Lyra stated flatly. Then perhaps it's time for the Empire to learn what happens when they underestimate their potential conquests, Reyna responded. We're not showing you all this to brag, First Observer. We're showing you so you can make an informed decision about what you report back to your superiors. As if to emphasize her point, new ships appeared around the station. Vessels that had been there all along, their presence hidden by technology the Zephyrians hadn't even known was possible. The message was clear. Humanity wasn't just ready for contact with the wider galaxy. They had been preparing for it for generations. You have a choice, Dr. Tanaka added softly. Your empire can either gain allies who have mastered deception on a solar system scale, or they can learn firsthand why we chose to hide our true capabilities for so long. Reyna finished. The decision is yours. Lyra stood at the conference room's viewport, watching as more and more human ships revealed themselves. Every assumption her empire had made about this species had been wrong. Every strategic calculation had been based on false data. And now, as she prepared to report back to her superiors, she faced a decision that would shape the future of both civilizations. The game of deception was over. The question now was whether it would be followed by peace or conflict. Either way, the galaxy would never be the same. The grand chamber of the Zephyrian High Command erupted in chaos as First Observer Lyra Vex's report concluded. The massive crystalline dome, usually a model of ordered civilization, now reflected the agitation of its occupants as their bioluminescent patterns clashed in a spectacular display of anger and disbelief. Supreme Commander Nexer's patterns flared crimson with rage. Impossible. No species could maintain such a deception for 3 centuries. The evidence is undeniable, Lyra responded, her own patterns steady and controlled. I've transmitted all sensor data from our encounter. The humans didn't just hide their capabilities. They engineered every discovery, every failure, every setback to paint a picture of precisely what we expected to see. The chamber's holographic displays showed the true extent of human technological achievement. The Empire's best analysts worked frantically to process the implications of what they were seeing. Quantum manipulation beyond anything in their database. Gravitational engineering that defied their understanding of physics. And most disturbing of all, stealth systems that had fooled their most advanced sensors for hundreds of years. They must be eliminated, declared War Minister Voss, his metallic scales reflecting the chamber's light. No species can be allowed to possess such capabilities outside Imperial control. Ready the invasion fleet. Lyra's patterns shifted to deep blue. A warning. Minister, with respect, you're making the same mistake we've been making for centuries. We don't know the full extent of their capabilities. What we've seen may only be what they're willing to show us. In the depths of space, humanity's preparations continued. The massive shipyards of Jupiter's shadow doubled their production. The quantum defense network spanning the solar system hummed with energy as new nodes came online. And in hidden facilities throughout Earth's solar system, weapons that had never been used in anger were prepared for their first real test. Admiral Patel stood in her command center, watching the quantum sensors track the movement of Zephyrian ships throughout the galaxy. "They're mobilizing," she noted calmly. "As expected," Dr. Tanaka replied, her augmented eyes processing multiple data streams simultaneously. The Empire has never faced a challenge to their superiority. Their response was predictable. "Activate Protocol Prometheus," Patel ordered. Throughout the solar system, hidden facilities began to power up. The true extent of humanity's preparations was finally revealed, not just to their potential enemies, but to their own population as well. In the Zephyrian High Command, the debate raged on. "The invasion fleet will be ready in 30 cycles, War Minister Voss announced. 10,000 ships, our most powerful weapons." "You still don't understand," Lyra interrupted, her frustration finally showing. "Everything we know about human technology is what they chose to show us. Their deception wasn't just about hiding their advances, it was about hiding their true nature." She activated a new holographic display, showing historical records of human conflicts. "Look at their history. Every time they've faced an existential threat, they've responded with innovations that their enemies never saw coming. They turned the power of the atom into a weapon when backed into a corner. They went from primitive flight to space travel in a single lifetime when challenged. And now they've had 300 years to prepare for us." Supreme Commander Nexer finished, his patterns shifting to a troubled gray. "And they knew we were watching the entire time." In Earth's solar system, the final preparations were being made. The asteroid belt transformed, revealing itself to be not just a weapons platform, but a fully integrated defense system. The gas giant's atmospheres churned as massive energy collectors emerged from their depths. Even the sun itself seemed to respond as human technology tapped into its power in ways the Zephyrians had never imagined possible. "Message from the Zephyrian Empire," Lieutenant Rivera announced in Earth's command center. "They're demanding our immediate surrender and integration into the Empire. They're claiming it's a generous offer given our deceptive nature." Admiral Patel smiled grimly. "Send our response. The same message we've been planning for 300 years. Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden fleets emerged from their centuries-long concealment. Ships that defied Zephyrian understanding of physics took up defensive positions. Weapons platforms that had been disguised as natural phenomena revealed their true nature. And in deep space, quantum sensors detected the approaching Zephyrian armada. The message that humanity sent was simple. We asked for peace and equality. You chose war. Remember, you forced this choice. Everything that happens next is on your hands." In the Zephyrian High Command, Lyra watched as the invasion fleet departed. Her pattern swirled with worry as she remembered something Admiral Patel had said during their meeting. "The thing about humanity is, what you see is never what you get, and what you don't see. That's what you should really be worried about." As the massive Zephyrian fleet approached Earth's solar system, humanity's centuries of preparation were about to be put to the test. The question wasn't whether they were ready. They'd been ready for generations. The question was whether the Zephyrian Empire was ready for what humanity had become, while they thought they were watching a primitive species stumble toward the stars. The void between Neptune and Uranus erupted with quantum distortions as the Zephyrian invasion fleet emerged from hyperspace. 10,000 ships strong, their crystalline hulls gleaming with barely contained energy, the largest armada ever assembled in the Empire's history. War Minister Voss stood on his flagship's command deck, his scales shimmering with anticipated victory. Deploy into combat formation, he ordered. Show these deceptive primitives the true might of the Empire. But as his fleet moved forward, something felt wrong. The solar system seemed empty. The massive defense platforms they detected earlier were gone. The human fleets had vanished. Even the quantum signatures that had been so prevalent during First Observer Vex's encounter had disappeared. Minister, his sensor chief called out, confusion evident in his bioluminescent patterns. We're detecting no significant energy signatures, no defense systems, no fleet movements. In Earth's Pacifica Command, buried deep beneath the ocean floor, Admiral Patel watched the Zephyrian fleet's approach with calculated calm. Around her, the command center hummed with controlled activity as humanity's real defense plan activated. They're exactly where we want them, Dr. Tanaka confirmed, her augmented eyes tracking multiple data streams. Quantum web is ready, waiting for your command. Patel nodded. Initiate Protocol Lazarus. Throughout the solar system, what the Zephyrians had assumed was empty space began to change. The very fabric of reality seemed to twist as humanity's true defensive network revealed itself. They hadn't hidden their defenses, they'd hidden space itself. Minister, the Zephyrian sensor chief's patterns flared with panic. Quantum anomalies detecting everywhere, the space around us. It's not natural. For 3 centuries, humanity hadn't just been developing weapons and ships. They'd been restructuring the fundamental nature of space-time within their solar system. Every cubic kilometer had been carefully mapped, modified, and prepared for this moment. The first wave of attacks came from seemingly nowhere. Quantum tunnels opened throughout the Zephyrian formation, releasing swarms of autonomous drones that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Traditional shields proved useless against weapons that technically didn't exist until they struck. Impossible. Voss raged as ships began disappearing from his tactical display. Returned fire. Full spread. But their weapons found no targets. The human ships phased between quantum states faster than the Zephyrian targeting systems could track. And with each passing moment, the true extent of humanity's preparation became clear. The gas giant's atmospheres erupted as massive gravity wells activated, creating artificial corridors that human ships used to outmaneuver the Zephyrian formation. The asteroid belt revealed itself to be an interconnected network of quantum gates, allowing Earth's forces to strike from thousands of positions simultaneously. In Pacifica Command, Patel watched the battle unfold. Activate the Sol harmonic, she ordered. Dr. Tanaka's hands flew across her console. Sol harmonic initiating. All quantum nodes synchronized. What happened next defied the Empire's understanding of physics. The entire solar system began resonating at a quantum level, creating a harmonized field that enhanced human technology while disrupting Zephyrian systems. Ships that had conquered dozens of civilizations found their advanced technology reduced to scrap by fundamental forces they didn't understand. This is Admiral Patel to all Earth forces, her voice carried across quantum encrypted channels. Execute Pattern Omega. Show them everything. The human counterattack was unlike anything the Empire had ever faced. Ships emerged from quantum superpositions, attacking from angles that shouldn't exist. Weapons fired through artificial dimensions, bypassing shields entirely. Even time itself seemed to fight against the Zephyrians as localized temporal distortions trapped entire squadrons in moments of eternal conflict. In the Zephyrian High Command, First Observer Lyra watched the tactical feeds with a mixture of horror and fascination. They didn't just prepare their technology, she realized. They prepared reality itself. The battle reached its crescendo as humanity unveiled their final weapon, the quantum cascade. Throughout the solar system, carefully positioned resonators activated simultaneously, creating a wave of quantum interference that rippled through space. Zephyrian ships found their very atomic structure becoming unstable as reality itself rejected their presence. Full retreat. War Minister Voss finally ordered, his patterns showing fear for the first time in his long career. All ships, emergency temporal jump. But retreat proved as difficult as advance. The quantum web humanity had woven throughout their solar system turned hyperspace itself into a maze. Ships attempting to flee found themselves emerging back into the killing field, their once mighty weapons useless against an enemy that had spent centuries preparing not just strategies, but the battlefield itself. Admiral Patel stood from her command chair. "Send the final message," she ordered. Throughout the remaining Zephyrian fleet, displays activated with a simple transmission. This was a demonstration. We have spent 300 years preparing not just weapons, but the fundamental forces of our solar system. Leave now, and carry this message to your empire. Earth is not, and never will be, your conquest. Any further aggression will result in us demonstrating capabilities that make this battle look like a mere warning shot. As the surviving Zephyrian ships finally found their way out of the solar system, humanity's true victory became clear. They hadn't just won a battle, they had shattered the Empire's conception of what was possible. The message wasn't just in the defeat, but in the revelation that everything the Empire thought they knew about physics, about warfare, about reality itself, might be wrong. In Pacifica Command, Dr. Tanaka approached Admiral Patel. "They'll be back," she said softly. "The Empire can't ignore this." 6 months after the Battle of Seoul, the great halls of the Galactic Concordat hummed with activity. For the first time in its 1,000-year history, the Zephyrian Empire had called for a full assembly of all spacefaring civilizations. Representatives from 100 species filled the crystalline chamber, their attention focused on the central platform where history was about to be made. Supreme Commander Nexer stood before the assembled delegates, his bioluminescent patterns subdued. Behind him, the massive display showed the battle that had changed everything. Humanity's devastating victory over the Empire's greatest fleet. For a millennium, he began, the Zephyrian Empire has been the undisputed power in the galaxy. Today, that changes, not through defeat in traditional combat, but through the revelation of our own ignorance. The chamber erupted in murmurs as Admiral Patel and Dr. Tanaka walked onto the platform. Their presence here, in the heart of galactic civilization, was unprecedented. No species had ever forced the Empire to acknowledge them as equals. Humanity, Nexer continued, has taught us an invaluable lesson. While we watched them, believing ourselves superior, they reshaped the very nature of reality within their domain. They turned our greatest strength, our certainty in our own supremacy, into our greatest weakness. In Earth's solar system, the changes were already evident. The facade of primitive technology had been completely dropped. The quantum web that had proven so devastating in battle now served as the foundation for a new age of human expansion. Ships utilizing technologies that the Empire was only beginning to understand moved freely through space, their very existence a testament to humanity's ingenuity. The Empire hereby recognizes Earth not just as a sovereign system, but as an equal partner in galactic civilization, Nexer announced. Furthermore, we propose a new framework for interstellar relations, one based on mutual respect and collaboration rather than dominance and submission. First Observer Lyra, watching from her position among the delegates, felt her patterns shift to a deep blue of contemplation. She remembered her first meeting with Admiral Patel, how the human had tried to warn them, to offer peace before conflict became necessary. Dr. Tanaka stepped forward to address the assembly. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't our technology, our quantum manipulation, or even our ability to deceive. It was our understanding that true strength lies not in domination, but in transformation. The holographic displays shifted, showing new images, human ships working alongside Zephyrian vessels to establish joint research stations. The quantum technologies that had been weapons were being adapted for peaceful purposes, revolutionizing everything from communication to energy production. We spent 3 centuries preparing for war, Admiral Patel added, but our true victory is in achieving peace, the solar system-wide quantum network that proved so devastating in battle. It can also serve as the foundation for a new form of faster-than-light travel, the reality-altering technologies we developed. They have applications in terraforming, in healing, in exploration. Throughout the chamber, representatives from various species watched in amazement as humanity revealed the full scope of their vision. They hadn't just developed weapons. They'd created entirely new ways of understanding and manipulating the universe itself. But know this, Patel's voice carried a note of steel beneath its diplomatic tone. Earth remains ready. The same ingenuity that allowed us to hide our true nature for centuries, that let us reshape our solar system into both a fortress and a laboratory, continues to drive us forward. We offer friendship freely, but we will never again allow ourselves to be seen as potential conquests. In the months that followed, the galaxy underwent a transformation as profound as any in its history. The quantum technologies humanity had developed spread, carefully and under joint oversight, to other civilizations. The Zephyrian Empire, for the first time in its existence, began to evolve from a conquering force into a true collaborative partner in galactic civilization. Research stations appeared in star systems throughout the galaxy, combining human innovation with alien expertise. The quantum web expanded, linking worlds in ways that had been thought impossible. And through it all, Earth's solar system remained a testament to what determination and ingenuity could achieve. In Pacifica Command, now serving as Earth's primary diplomatic center, Admiral Patel stood with Dr. Tanaka, watching ships from dozens of species moving through the quantum gates that once served as hidden weapons platforms. "They're still trying to figure out how we did it," Tanaka noted, her augmented eyes tracking the movements of various vessels. "How we hid so much for so long." Patel smiled. "Let them wonder. After all," she gestured to a secure display showing new projects under development in humanity's still hidden facilities. "They haven't seen everything yet. Humanity's greatest strength isn't in what we've achieved, but in what we're capable of becoming." As the sun set on another Earth day, its light refracting through the quantum web that now openly spanned the solar system, humanity stood at the dawn of a new era. They had emerged from centuries of hiding not as conquerors or victims, but as innovators and partners in shaping the galaxy's future. The age of deception was over. The age of transformation had begun, and humanity, having proven themselves masters of both, stood ready to help guide the galaxy into whatever wonders or challenges awaited them all.